This is the color wheel polystyrene drawing project. This is the only polystyrene drawing project I completed during the month of May 2025. And I only started and did this project so it could demonstrate the concept of the color wheel. Essentially so that I could use it for the color wheel video, which was mostly finished in terms of all of the raw video clips for months before I finally got around to finishing this project. For this project, I essentially just took the default hue of each of the what I would consider the rainbow color groups, or maybe the color groups that don't involve either special Sharpie markers such as the metallics and the neons, or Sharpie markers that are part of the color groups for coloring and drawing humans, which describes the facial and skins color groups. These color groups are pinks, reds, oranges, those hues that aren't a part of either the skins or the facials color groups, yellows, greens, teals, blues, and purples. For this project, I used the fine point marker of, again, what I considered to be the default, or at least a medium, not the darkest but also not the lightest hue of each of the rainbow color groups. And then I did the same for the next color group that made up the wheel. And I did the sloping kind of blending to try to create a gradient effect. And I continued that process until I completed the project. As I did this blending, I kept rubbing the involved markers 2 to 3 times on a square of paper towel so that the mark of those markers wouldn't be altered by the mark from the other marker that was involved in the blending at the time. When it comes to the sloping kind of blending, you always use the lighter marker to move mark from the darker marker to create the gradient effect. So in this case, I use the default hue fine point pink marker to move the default hue red fine point markers mark, and then I used the default hue fine point orange marker to move the default hue fine point red marker, and then the default hue yellow fine point marker to move the mark of the default hue orange fine point marker, and so on. Only having there be 2 fresh vertical dotted lines at a time. And I also kept in mind using the lightest hue of gray to move the mark of whatever default hue fine point marker was involved in these areas as I went along. After I drew and colored in a circle with a fine point black Sharpie marker, and then did the sloping kind of blending with the lightest hue of gray fine point Sharpie marker as a way to try to demonstrate kind of how the grays color group is a part of a sort of separate color bar, as the grays are a part of a spectrum between white and black. Whereas these color groups, pink, red, orange, yellow, green, teal, blue, and purple, make up the color wheel color groups, which loop both clockwise and counterclockwise without end. It is easiest to do the sloping kind of blending when the involved color groups are right next to each other on the color wheel. It's still possible to do the sloping kind of blending when the involved color groups are farther apart from each other within the color wheel. It'll just be more difficult because now you'll have to use a marker from a color group between the two color groups you intend to blend in that case. As of now, I plan on doing a new The Color Wheel video, for which I'll again use this color wheel polystyrene drawing project to demonstrate the concept. While I didn't do this polystyrene drawing project as either a gift or commission for someone else, I also wouldn't consider it to be one of my personal projects, as again, I just did this so that I could use the completed project to demonstrate the concept of the color wheel.